Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna. I am a 36-year-old artist out of Utah, and today I'm doing a little watercolor painting of some very fat little birbs. Um, I really love painting fat birbs, if I'm being completely honest. And yes, I will use the word birbs. So if you hate that, sorry. I actually did the drawing for this over a year ago, or at least a year ago. I don't even remember exactly. And a lot of it got lost in translation after I erased a little bit to lighten the pencil marks. So some of the details are not visible. And I completely changed the branches when I was painting it because I couldn't see them. Anyways, this is me doing the drawing many months ago. And I apologize for this footage here. When I did my first initial washes on this painting, I didn't realize my camera was not in focus. So this is sped up quite a bit. But I love the way that the different colors are kind of running together a little bit. That is honestly one of the things I love the most about watercolor, and it's something that I'm working to put in my paintings more. I have this tendency to gravitate toward making very precise marks and being very detail oriented. That's just kind of the way that I've always done my art, and more I'm just finding that I prefer things to be a little bit less refined, but learning to actually implement that is easier said than done. And I think it's going to be probably a years long process for me, which is fine because I am really learning to embrace the exploratory mindset of creating art, and the mindset that I am always going to be learning as I do this, and that's just kind of the way that it is. And honestly, I think it's kind of the way that it should be, because it's the sort of activity that you can keep going forever, and you're never going to know everything. You're never gonna understand it perfectly because it's such a broad thing to be doing. Yeah. But yeah, point being, I just really want looser watercolor in the future. But I do think that as I was putting down my brushstrokes for this painting, I did, especially with this second bird, I really did start to let my colors, especially for this base coat, just kind of run together and be connected. And I do get more detailed and nitpicky on top of these initial layers, but I really was pleased with how this particular bit right here exactly went. Like that right there, where that darker color ran into the pale gray, and you have these little highlights that just stuck out. Like, that to me was so great. So it's just for me a matter right now of being aware of what I'm doing and being conscious of it, because I do have a tendency to just kind of zone out, which I'm actually not going to fault myself for when I'm doing art, because I'm not looking at social media or a screen, and unless I'm painting digitally, and zoning out's not a bad thing. This painting was not planned at all, really. Like, I did kind of throw together the composition, and like I said, I drew it over a year ago, and I would do it differently now. Like, I would put the birds closer together, and I would possibly have them be overlapping a little bit, and I might I would probably put them on opposite sides of the page. This feels very weird, this one, because there's just like this blank space in the very center of the painting, and it's kind of strange to me composition wise. But excuse me, but I kind of am of the mind that it's like I already started this and I am enjoying finishing things, which I didn't do for a long time, and I've probably mentioned a few times in my videos. So if you've been around, you know. Part of my goals for when I began my YouTube channel was that I would be finishing art. And so I am embracing the lack of perfection of this painting and embracing the learning experience that it has been, that it was, and just enjoying the process. These birds are dark-eyed Juncos, and I see them often in my yard and around my neighborhood. I am not good enough with my phone camera to get any kind of videos of them. Unfortunately, they're so tiny and they're so cute, and I don't know if they were in the area that I lived in before I moved here 5 years ago, but I don't recall seeing them, and when I moved here, I noticed them everywhere and I adore them. I think they're so cute. So I really wanted to paint them, and I will probably do it again because, like I said, well, I really do like how this painting did end up turning out, and I'm really pleased with the awareness that I was able to cultivate slowly as I worked on it and the things that I learned. I am not 100% happy with it, and like I said, I really like painting fat BIRBS. They're just so cute and funny. So they're one of my favorite subjects, if I'm being completely honest. I actually had a friend commission me to paint 5 little fat watercolor birds for her to hang in her house. And they were all birds like native to the area that she lived in, which I thought was pretty cool. So that was fun. But yeah, I love painting birds. So, and this is like a recent thing for me to really have like embraced. But here we are. I like birds. Especially the round ones. So I'm a tiny bit jealous of like Europe's robins because they're very small and very round. And the robins here in my part of the United States are not that. They're larger and less round. Still cute though. Anyway, round birds. They're the best. I had right there, you saw me kind of pull up the watercolor on that bird. I realized that the back was extended out too far and it was kind of a strange shape. So I went over it with green after lifting the dark color off. And it didn't 100% go great, but I do think it's much better than it was, and that's great. I decided to keep the branches really simple, and I really liked this dabbing dark, like a lot of pigment into spots and then pulling it out with more water and less pigment, which left shadow shapes on the very simple branches. And then I wanted some texture in the painting, so I did start some splatters, and I do more of that later. I wanted this bird to stick out a little bit more, and I think that this is kind of a failed attempt at using a shadow shape in the background to have the foreground stand out more. Like it works technically, but it looks a little bit random to me, and maybe it's just me. It's probably just me. Like I definitely overthink things. I didn't fuss too much when adding this little clawed foot to the branch. Like, yeah, I have started to especially for like this is literally a practice painting. In my folder, it says practice painting on like my video folder where I put all my videos for this. Which is actually a great way to just like think about any painting you're doing, because, you know, then it's just, wow, sorry. Then it's just everything's practice and you don't have to worry about any of it very much. And then the ones that turn out really good, it's like extra exciting. I say as I'm doing a painting right now that's not a practice painting. But anyway, this is a practice painting and I don't remember what I was saying before that. So, sorry. I admit I don't plan my voiceovers out. Like sometimes I do a little bit, but mostly I just kind of talk to you like we're sitting in a cafe having coffee together. Yeah. In the future that may change. I am not like fussing too much about my videos right now because the mural that I'm doing is still just taking up so much of my time, and I'm just proud of myself for getting videos out. So you can just be proud of me for that too. Yeah, this second bird was a lot simpler. I think this one is the female. Its head isn't as dark and its color is a little bit on the drabber side. It's more gray than brown, and so yeah, I found it really easy with this one to do that lay down of different colors and let them run into each other more, and to use the darks here like I'm doing to carve out the feathers and the wing shapes that I was seeing. They got a little janky on the first bird when I was trying to do that. I think that I salvaged it well enough, but they're definitely not accurate. But, you know, practice painting. It's good enough. And I've already pointed out a bunch of the things that I learned while I did it, so it was totally worth it. Plus, I got a painting out of it. So, you know. I used a brand new set of 12 Winsor & Newton watercolors that I got for Christmas from my best friend to do this painting. And I had a little bit of a struggle because there's no black in the set, which is great. I'm all for learning to mix colors. I used burnt umber and ultramarine blue. Wow, tongue-tied there. Ultramarine blue to do black, but I found that it wasn't dark enough. I've done that before with those two colors with oils to mix my black, and it worked really well. But for this, I couldn't get it black enough, and I don't know if that's a me thing and I need to experiment more with that, but I added Payne's Gray to the mix and that solved the problem, which was nice. So, and also good because, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm sort of obsessed with Payne's Gray. I think it's so pretty. This bird, the way that the layers turned out, the way that the colors sort of were moving together, I'm really pleased with it. I really like how she turned out. Yeah. I am actually one of those people that loves to see watercolor blooming and doing its own thing. And so that's kind of something I'm striving to let happen more in my watercolor paintings. And I want to do some really simple like sketchbook stuff with watercolor. I actually have a goal to just do more sketchy type things, more sketchbooking, just to do simpler art more frequently, because I feel like that kind of consistency will actually help me learn a lot. Yeah. It's just that I'm having to train myself to actually do it, which is challenging. I admit I have the same problem that most people have, where I have attention span issues that I'm working to fix. I've been reading more in the last year, but this year I'm already trying to be more aware of not being on social media as much and to not be scrolling because it's always depressing. So, and I want my attention span back. I don't want to give it to the billionaires anymore. So, yeah, I'm just working on devising systems to put in place that will make sketching easier for me. I had someone here on YouTube suggest having a sketchbook at the dining table, which honestly, I don't eat at the dining table a lot in my household. It's just me and my mom, and we're both chronically ill, so we're not typically at the dining table. But it got me thinking though, like, is there a place that I can keep a sketchbook or take a sketchbook? And I'm kind of thinking my nightstand is probably the best choice. I do often take my sketchbook upstairs with me at night, but I don't tend to use it as much as I would like to. So if anyone has any suggestions, I would love to hear them. Yeah, like, what do you guys do to make it easier for you to create more or read more or whatever it is that you want to do? I would love to hear what you guys do, like what your systems are for that kind of thing. Now, to actually sketch with watercolor more, that's going to take, and gouache. I want to do more little like gouache type stuff in my sketchbook too, but that's going to take a little more pre-planning, which I think is fine. I do think that if I can do it more with just like pencil and pen and possibly markers and such, it will start, the habit going. And I do think there's always that hurdle of just starting, and that it's kind of a muscle in your, a mental muscle that needs to be worked. You know what I mean? And I think that if I'm just sketching more in general, and if I can make that a habit, that it will be easier for me to sit down with paint and actually do that, as opposed to the challenge that it is now to make myself do that. So, baby steps. But yeah, here I go in to do my splattering, and I have this paper towel with me to keep it, to get anything dabbed up that is a little too intense. This was really fun though, and for the first time ever, I felt like it actually worked the way I wanted it to. It took a couple tries with different brushes to get the effects that I wanted, because I didn't just do this. I was also flicking my finger through it, and I think I need to get a used toothbrush, my own, of course, that is very clean, because that is a really great way to flick paint and get those little tiny textured speckles that I'm a huge fan of. So, and yeah, here's a tape peel for you guys, and I'll just let you enjoy the sound now. Yay! Anyway, here's the finished painting. Thanks for being here and letting me ramble with you. Yeah. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and check out my other videos. That would be super helpful for me. Hope you guys have a beautiful day. Love you. Bye.